What's up, y'all? Hold on. Ow. Alright, what's up, everyone? Ooh, let's get a mic over here. We can be like professionals.
I have a mic.
What's up, Noah? I am worried. I am very worried. Hold on just a second. Let me post this in one more place. Gotta get as many eyeballs as I can. Alright. Why does that not work there? So. Alright, we're back. Again, professional mic for a professional whatever this is. Alright, so yeah, let's talk some week 0. College football season's kinda here tomorrow. I mean that counts, right? Week 0. Noah had a question. There should be a chat up here, but it's not showing. Hold on just a second. Always show messages. Show message animations. Well, I was supposed to have a chat box, but it's not working. So yeah. All right. We're gonna talk some week 0. Noah asked if Alabama, who their quarterback is, and am I worried? I think it's gonna be Milroe to start the year. I am worried. I went back and watched that Texas A&M game the other day. Don't like it. Dude can't throw. Noah, you're a Tennessee fan. Kind of same boat, maybe. How you feeling about Milton? I don't know. Milton's he's definitely more talented with his arm. Obviously, Milroe's probably a better athlete, but I don't know. We'll see. It's gonna be interesting. I think Simpson gets some reps. Thankfully, week 1 kind of easing into it, Middle Tennessee State, and then the big one against Texas. But we'll see how that plays out. I'm gonna do more of like a preview next week. So So yeah, but I'm gonna talk week 0. We got 7 games. I'm gonna get them up. We'll screenshot them right here. What a dadgum slate of games. I say it every year. College football is the dumbest sport in America, which we already know that. But, NFL, you've got this grandiose Thursday night. The defending champion gets a primetime game on their own against a pretty good team. Historically, this year's the Lions. A lot of people got big expectations for. College football's first game. This year's a little different. It's in Ireland. You got Navy and Notre Dame, and then followed up with UTEP and Jacksonville State. So that's it's the dumbest sport in America, but the best. And that's why we love it. So we've got that. That Notre Dame game, Sam Hartman's first game at Notre Dame, should be pretty interesting to see how he, kind of plays into it. I'm trying to get this to load, but of course, technology. There we go. Put it over here. Yeah, so Navy Notre Dame, first game. Currently a 20.5 point spread for Notre Dame, obviously. I don't really know where to go on that. Public's actually, I think, kind of back in Notre Dame, of course, but not terribly heavy like you would think. More of the money is coming in on Navy. I don't know. I think Notre Dame's going to try and establish their identity. I'm not touching the spread. I'm going to touch the team total. Notre Dame's team total is over 34.5. I'm going to take the over. Last year was kind of, not great. It was the first time they didn't win 10 games in like 9 years. So, Marcus Freeman's first year, I think he'd lost 5 games. I think he's going to be a good coach, but time will tell on that. I think they're going to come out of the gate kind of, firing away. They lost their offensive coordinator to Alabama. A lot of Notre Dame fans were happy to see him go. I don't really know what to speak on to that. I'm still not super thrilled with it as an Alabama fan with the hire, but again, time will tell how that works. I think they come out though trying to prove a point with Hartman coming over from Notre Dame or from Wake Forest. I think that it's in Ireland. I know that they're playing Navy. Historically, if this were week 6 and it was a 20-point spread, I'd bet my mortgage payment on Navy. I would bet the kids' college tuition on it. All the cliches you can think of would have that kind of ramifications on it if it were week 6, week 7. But when you've got an entire offseason to prep for the triple option, granted, it's going to be a little different from Navy. But Niumatalolo has kind of lost a little of that magic at Navy. I think, they're not the program they were. They're not the dominant, military academy, group of 5 type team, winning 9-10 games every year. Yeah. Wait, did Niumatalolo leave? Now I feel. I think he's still there. They tried to get him out, right? No, he is gone. That's right. Yeah. So they brought in. That's right. I forgot he left. As I was saying it, I'm like, okay. This didn't sound right. Now I have to go look up Navy's football coach, Brian Newberry. All right. He was kind of around. So now I feel like an idiot. But first game for him. I would lean Navy with the points. I would buy it at 21 if I took it. Notre Dame might come out. They might get up like 17-0. You might could get it at like 34.5, 35, and then I would hammer it probably. So I would probably be having some live action on that, but definitely going to go with the team total over 34.5 of Notre Dame. I think they get to 28 in the first half, and then just need a touchdown in the second half and be all right. But college football, first game of the year. Kirk, what's up? Who does Nick Saban hate most, and why is it Ty Simpson? That's a good question. I don't know. You know how Saban is. He's weird about every time these quarterback changes play out. He's tried to give both guys reps. I was supposed to go to a scrimmage last Saturday. I couldn't make it. I've heard that both were kind of, I don't know. I mean, it's going to be old school Alabama football. They're going to kind of line up, try to pound you. Grounded pound, run the damn ball, as we like to say around here. It's going to happen next year, or this year, hopefully. So, defense should be improved. I don't think we're going to face as many dynamic offenses. Hopefully Tennessee's offense isn't what it was last year. We don't see anything like that, 51-40 or 52-49, whatever the hell that was. So that's on that. So give me Notre Dame. Team total over 34.5, kind of showcase Hartman a little bit. Next up, we got UTEP and Jacksonville State. This is a 1-point spread. UTEP won like 9 games last year in D1. Or they won 7 games. Yeah, no, they went 5-7. They just missed. But Jacksonville won 9 games. That's what it was. Rich Rodriguez at Jacksonville is just still crazy to me. So Jacksonville is kind of, I'm from North Alabama, live in Birmingham now. They went, UTEP went 5-7. They're, I kind of grew up close to Jacksonville. It was like an hour from my house. And, anytime you had a local kid that was pretty good college football, or pretty good high school football player, and you knew he was never going to go D1, it was like, oh, well, maybe you go to Jacksonville. And they have definitely graduated from that level. Like, it's not just kids from North Alabama that couldn't go D1 playing there. They're getting better athletes than that. But I still don't think they're 1-point dogs to a D1 team at home, week 0. Good. Like, the depth. Again, UTEP is not Texas. They're not Texas. They're not a Power 5 program. They're still a D1 program. And, there's probably, these two teams probably don't compete for a lot of the same guys. But if they do, it's just like UAB's similar. They're probably a step above UTEP. But, here in Alabama, if you've got an offer from Jacksonville State and you got an offer from UAB, you're going to go to UAB. Even though you might could come in and play more at Jacksonville State, hell, you might have a better chance of actually winning something because UAB's never going to win anything nationally. They might win their conference, but like Jacksonville State's played for the national title in D2 or 1AA, whatever the hell it is now, FCS. But you're still going to pick, 99% of kids are going to pick UAB over Jacksonville State. And I know that's not a perfect comparison, but, in the two, like, they're just going to have more athletes. They're going to have more depth. I know it's week 0. Depth's not going to come into play as much, but they're just going to be bigger and more physical along the offensive lines, the defensive lines. I'm going to take UTEP here, +1. I'm going to take the money, or they're -1. I'm going to take the money line. When it gets to 1, I don't mess with that because I'm not going to be sitting there holding the ticket at the end of the day at -1 and the score's 28-27 and I push. I'm going to spend, a little extra and get the money line. So I've got the UTEP money line there. Jesse, top 10 going into the season. So I will be honest, I haven't fully dove into like my total preseason stuff. I'm going to hit on that probably like Tuesday of next week. I'm going to do a big like preview show, I hope. I like some of the cliche teams that are coming out, obviously. I mean, Georgia's going to be really good. Georgia's going to go 12-0. I wish I could. I think you can bet the team total 11.5. They might have a slip up. If I could find a team total of 11, I would throw a lot of money on it, even though I hate season-long bets, just because at worst that's going to be a push. They might slip up once. That's the weakest schedule I've ever seen for a defending national champion. It's awful. Michigan's the same thing. Michigan was very happy to self-impose a 3-game ban for Harbaugh this year because they're not playing anyone. And then next year, the 4-game ban that the NCAA wanted to implement, he would have to miss the Texas game. So now he's going to miss like 3 nobodies. You got to have Georgia, Michigan. I think LSU's going to be good. I know that's another one. Alabama, it's going to be a top 10 team. I don't know. I still don't fully know what to expect. They're going to be a top 10 team. I think Wisconsin ends this season as a top 10 team just because some of the improvements they've made, Fickle and Phil Longo. But the way their schedule breaks down, they don't play anybody. Really, I mean, they play Ohio State and Michigan. I think they only get one of them. Penn State's another one. I think will probably finish in the top 10. So I still haven't locked down my playoff teams and my full love this team, but I try not to go full chalk. Obviously, I think Georgia, is pretty chalky. And here's the thing: everybody's penciling Georgia into the playoff. Maybe so. They're gonna make the SEC championship game. There's just the SEC East is down. Tennessee, I still think is gonna be pretty good, but I don't think they're there yet. I don't think they can continue it with Milton like they did with Hooker last year. But even if they beat them, Tennessee's going to lose a couple of games. I think Alabama will get Tennessee regardless because it's in Tuscaloosa. So I think you'll see a slip up there. And then if they lose one more, it doesn't matter if Georgia loses to Tennessee. I think Kentucky could beat Tennessee. They're going to be a little more physical on the lines of scrimmage. So Georgia's going to be in the SEC championship game. And it's going to be one of those at the end of the year, you're sitting there, say they're 12-0. If they're 12-0 and they lose the SEC championship game, it won't matter. But say they do slip up, and then they lose like a really close SEC championship game, I think they're out at that point. I think a one-loss team, I think you should have the conversation because their schedule's so awful that, again, I'm not trying to take, they're really good. And even if they had a tough schedule, I would still probably have them penciled in the SEC championship game. But it's just, I don't know. So I think that's when everybody's just Georgia playoff. And it's probably, they're probably minus 150 to make it. And it's probably smart. But Georgia, Penn State, Alabama, Clemson. I don't hate that at all. Yeah, Clemson's going to be, I'm going to look at some Cade Klubnik. I don't do preseason Heisman stuff because historically it's not a good bet. And Caleb Williams probably had some hype last year, but not a lot of people actually thought year one after a transfer. Most people would want to hold that against him, but nobody stepped up and took it. He kind of was just the last man standing if you go back and look at it. He had a great season, don't get me wrong, but we kept waiting for somebody to have that Heisman moment, that breakout moment, and no one really ever did, and he was just kind of last man standing. So I think Klubnik from Clemson, they got Garrett Riley, Lincoln's little brother. They got him from TCU. He's offensive coordinator. Clemson's defense is going to be great. ACC's outside of Florida State is really not that great. North Carolina should be pretty good, but they lost their offensive coordinator. I think they're going to take a step back even with Drake May returning. And I think that, I think Clemson's got a shot for sure. And I think can't put money on it. Yeah, that's it is one of the big things. They're going to get blown out by somebody, or not blown out, but they're either going to lose a game they shouldn't, or get killed by someone that they shouldn't have gotten killed by. I think their defense is going to be really good. I still think that those teams they had against Alabama when they just had 6-7 defensive, NFL players on the field are going to be tough to beat, and then Watson, but Klubnik, whatever, he's not Watson, but he's going to put up a shit ton of numbers. And, they're probably going to be 11-1 at worst, or 10-2 at worst, 11-1. They won 10 games last year, and everybody thought it was a down bad year. Brian, I said I would probably lean Navy, but I'm not going to take a total or a spread in that. I'm going to go Notre Dame team total over 34.5. I think they get out. Look, Notre Dame has the most Heisman winners, I think. USC's up. It's Notre Dame, USC, and Ohio State, and somebody else, are all up there. I think Notre Dame has the most because the old guys. So, National Writers obviously love Notre Dame. I think they come out and try to put, a spin on the, jumpstart the Brian Hart or the Sam Hartman Heisman campaign. So I think they go over 34.5. It's one of my favorite bets this weekend. But I think the Final Four. I'm gonna end up. I'll have that probably Tuesday or Wednesday, a full preview show, and have you my Final Four. But I'm not there yet. But I don't know that Clemson is not going to be in it. I like Florida State, but I think they're getting a little too much hype. I hate when this happens because Florida State's a team I really like. Penn State's another one, and Wisconsin. But like all of them are getting a lot of hype, and a lot of times that doesn't work. So I think Michigan. I mean, we were talking a minute ago. Yeah, like they got a 1-game season. I hate to say it. I know you're a Michigan fan, Adam, but I think you can look at the schedule and agree. It's a 1-game season. That game against Ohio State, and it's at home this year, so they're gonna probably be there. If they're gonna have a chance, and if they do, if they make it, yeah, it's all a matter. I mean, they probably should have won that game. McCarthy threw 2 pick sixes in that TCU game. It was the flukiest. It was a crazy ass game, but it was super fluky. And I had the over, and I think it hit in the first quarter. But it was nuts. I watched that again the other day, and it was just Michigan probably should have won that. Obviously, would have probably not beat Georgia, but put up a hell of a lot better fight than TCU did. So. So we got, we're talking about some of these over here. UTEP, Jack State, UMass, New Mexico State's another one. Both these teams are terrible. UMass was probably the worst team in football last year. Them or another team that we're about to talk about in Hawaii. But UMass, like, I don't know. It makes no sense. And they're only a 7-point dog, and it went from 10 to 7, and the money's coming in on UMass. So I'm probably going to throw. It'll be the smallest bet I make all weekend, but it's a primetime standalone ESPN game. Well, it's not standalone, but it's a primetime ESPN game. So I will have something on it, and I'm probably going to take UMass just because it doesn't make any sense. They were, like I said, probably the worst team in college football last year, and they went from a 10 to a 7-point underdog on the road against a also pretty bad New Mexico State team. But yeah. So has Ohio State picked a quarterback? I don't think they have, but it doesn't matter. Anyone in this chat could be the quarterback and throw for 3,000 yards with that off. With Marvin Harrison Jr. and Ebukama, I forget how you say his name, but the other guy, Marvin Harrison Jr. is the best player in college football this year. Him or Brock Bowers, which is crazy to say at tight ends in the conversation, but he is. And Jalil Oates, another guy you'll hear a lot about from Alabama. Obviously, he's not going to be on that level, but Harrison and Bowers, to me, are the two best players in football, and that's with a returning Heisman quarterback in Caleb Williams at USC. I mean, obviously, quarterback's more important, but, like, how good they are at their position, how they rate out, like, they're both 99 overall type guys, whereas Caleb Williams is probably 96, 97 overall type, semantics, and I always would take a quarterback first, but pure talent, pure football player, I'm taking Marvin Harrison and Brock Bowers over him, but again, not in positional importance. What's up, Dustin? I watched the Manziel doc. It was pretty good, but it was an infomercial. I have been hampering on a Florida documentary. I think Wright Thompson wrote a piece like 10 years ago about that, and I talked about it on the break the other day. It's like I literally almost became a documentarian just so I could make this documentary about the Florida team. I watched the first episode and I was like, okay, it was fun. It reminded me of DJ Hall doing we went, beat him 31-3 in Tuscaloosa. It's probably the loudest I've ever heard that stadium in 2005 when Prothro housed that first touchdown when we went up 7-0. And it seems like it's just an Urban Meyer fluff piece. And I told Laura the other day, I was like, I'll probably end up watching it while I'm sorting just because I'm a college football nut and it's going to remind me and get me pumped for the season. But apparently it does it no justice on apparently they don't talk about Aaron Hernandez. They don't talk about Riley Cooper, which Riley Cooper's troubles came after he left. But it's crazy that Tebow was there with Riley Cooper, Aaron Hernandez. They don't talk about life after Tebow. They don't talk about, there's just so much. And it seems they did it no justice. With the Manziel thing, they didn't put him in any precarious situations. Everything they talked about was already public knowledge, except the rich, his family wasn't rich thing. But like the Vegas thing, everybody knew that. Like, it's just not, they're fluff pieces, they're PR pieces. All right, so we got the UMass, New Mexico State. I'm going to take UMass because it makes no damn sense. I'm big on if it makes no sense, but next is Ohio, San Diego State. Both actually are pretty good. There were like 19 combined wins between the two last year. Again, I know it's a new year, but with, it's fun to reminisce, and like those teams were really badass, and a lot of talent, and it is fun to see and be reminded of that. But yes, it's like, hey, Urban Meyer's really not that bad of a guy. Let's get him back in coaching. He just likes to coach hard. No, I'm good. Urban Meyer's one of the worst people ever, and from what I can tell, they're trying to make him seem to be like he just coached hard, just coached his guys hard, just wanted the best for his guys, wanted to get the most out of them. No. So, all right, Ohio, San Diego State. I don't know much about their returning stuff on both these teams. Historically, they're both pretty good Group of 5 programs. San Diego State probably more so than Ohio, but Ohio usually, 8, 9, 10 win team. They're 3.5 point favorites, 3-point favorite, or San Diego State's a 3-point favorite. It might be 2.5 some places. I'll probably take Ohio +3, just buy it up a little just because of the public action. Again, probably won't be much of a play, but there's 7 games this week, so we're going to probably hit them all. Next up, the San Jose State USC game. Actually, next up's Hawaii and Vanderbilt. So, no, I don't think so. So, Brian, that's what, we were talking about. Week 6, sure. If Hawaii were going to Vandy, but it's week 0. Like, they could have gotten there. They're probably already there. This Friday, they're definitely already there today. They've probably been there since Tuesday. But I know that exactly. I knew about Tim Tebow when I was 12, and he didn't commit till I was 15. Like, give me a break, yeah. But so they've probably been there since last weekend. So Vandy's in a weird place right now. So you got Clark Lee coming in. I think he's probably going to do pretty well for them. But he's going to have to strip this thing down. Like, they're going to have to redo what they had. Lee was there before, but I think it's the second year, right? But let's see. Yeah, this is the second year there. What is this, third year there? Yeah, it's his third year there. Okay. But he's still in the process of tearing that thing down and kind of getting it how he wants. It's going to take time at Vandy. You can't do that overnight like you can in Alabama or Georgia if you're, Saban and Kirby and some of these guys. And they're just in a weird spot. Hawaii sucks. They were, like I said, one of the worst teams in football last year. But Vandy shouldn't be laying 18 to anyone. So I'm going to take Hawaii. So go look. Vandy Stadium, they're renovating it, and I don't know that it's going to be ready. Like, I don't know they're going to be able to play on it tomorrow. Obviously, I think something would happen. They would probably be pretty close, or we would have heard about it by now. But there's going to be like 28 people there because no one wants to go sit in a construction zone and watch it. There's going to be no home field advantage. There never is at Vandy. We went in 2017. Yeah, Alabama played up there in 2017, and it was 95% Alabama fans from the jump. And what little Vandy fans were there left, and they thought they were going to beat us. That was the famous, "Hey Alabama, you're next, offensive lineman," and then they got beat 59-0. That they thought they had a chance, and it was still 5% Vandy fans because Alabama fans love the opportunity to go drink in Nashville and watch their football team play. So there's no home field advantage there. I'm going to take Hawaii in that 18. If it, like I said, week 2, week 3. I would probably take Vandy, but I don't think Vandy should be laying 18 to anyone. So we'll take that. So next we got San Jose State and USC. San Diego State is historically not terrible either. They're like, this is not your typical week 0 matchup for a team that probably should have made the playoff last year. But everyone talks about, the USC can't tackle, they can't tackle. And you go back and you watch that game against Utah and even the Tulane game, and they looked like they were not physical. They're not a physical football team. I don't think they're going to be in the long run. They might make the playoffs just because the Pac-12, it's going to be between them and Oregon, and there's a shot that either one of those teams only has one loss, and if they win the Pac-12 with one loss, they'll both have high enough profiles that they probably will make the playoff. But they'll get killed by whoever. USC would get killed by whoever. Oregon would at least be competitive, even though I think USC probably could beat Oregon. It's just a matter of physicality and how the two teams play. USC will be more physical. I think it's going to be a point of emphasis. So this is another one. I'm not really touching the spread. I'm going to take the team total under for San Jose State at 17 because, like I said, it's a 31-point spread. I think USC probably covers that. But I'm going to take under 17 for San Jose State just simply because I think USC is going to drive this home. They got a guy that started at Georgia last year on the defensive line. He was a freshman at Georgia and he played. He started some. They got him as a transfer. They brought in some guys. Like, it's week 0. Depth doesn't matter. It's just like, let's get our most physical guys out there. Let's prove to the nation, even though it's on Pac-12 Network and no one can watch it, there are more people watching this stream right now that will watch that have access to that channel. I still think they're gonna it's gonna be a point of emphasis, and it might be 49-13 with 3 minutes left, and San Jose State's like, all right guys, let's get back down there and let's let somebody else say they scored a touchdown against USC. Let's go drive down the field, and Lincoln's gonna be like, no. We're making this a point. We're driving this home, and he's gonna have his starters out there, just trying to prove a point, trying to send a message like, hey, we're more physical. We're not gonna let what happened to us against Utah happen again, even though by the time they play Utah, it probably will happen again. But week 0, again, it's not about depth. It's not about any of that stuff. It's about putting your best on their best, and they're probably gonna have their guys out there too long. So give me the team total under 17, San Jose State. Hopefully it goes 17.5. Then the last one, Florida International and La Tech. I don't know much about this one at all. Not that, you could probably say I don't know much about any of this because who does really know much about it? Both teams were pretty bad last year, 3-9, 4-8. The only thing, for some reason, the public is all over La Tech. Money and the bet percentage. I don't know if they know something we don't, or there's just like 8 bets out there. So I'm going to take the home team minus 11. You could probably tinker with that and get that down to, let me see what you can get that down to if you wanted to get it to 10. Because 10 is a lot better number than 11.5, obviously. So 10 is minus 140. So I'm going to lock that in right now. I'm going to go minus 10 La Tech at minus 140. Again, you're buying a 1.5, but let's, 35 or 38-28 is probably more feasible than 42-31 or 42-30. You got to get 11. People don't think about it, but is actually kind of you see a lot of 41-30, 42-31s. It doesn't seem like a key number, but it can be. So I'm going to go to 10. Again, that's just it's a week 0. There's 7 games. We're hitting them all kind of play. So in total, let's go. We'll run it down here at the end and kind of see how we do. Again, historically, I'm pretty good at this. Hopefully, we can keep that going. First game, we're going to go Notre Dame team total over 34.5. Next game, we're going to go UTEP money line over Jack State. Next, we're going to go UMass plus 7 because it makes no sense. They should not be only a touchdown underdog to anyone. So Vegas spins on. Give it to me. Next up, Ohio and San Diego State's at 2.5. I'm going to get it to 3. And I'm going to take Ohio at plus 3. Next up, Vandy and Hawaii. It's now 17.5. I'm fine with 17.5. I'm going to take Hawaii because, like I said, it just doesn't compute. Some of the reasons I said, week 0, having time to get out there. David Yost is the O coordinator. All right. I remember that guy. Yeah. Who was the guy they had? Brian. Oh, my God. Brian, who's like number 16. This guy, he ran a lot. He was really good. Oh my God, what was that guy's name? I want to say Brian Smith, but that's not it. Next up, we're going to take the team total under 17 for San Jose State. And we're going to close the night out going -10 La Tech over Florida International. So, all right. Thanks, guys, for hanging out with me. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, kind of threw something together last minute. I just wanted to get on here and kind of talking myself through some of this, and it helps to get it out in the public. So that's all I got. I'm gonna hop off. We'll be back Monday with a dadgum vengeance. We are breaking so much next week. It's gonna be a lot of fun. So be on the lookout for that. If you need me, of course, let me know. We're headed up to the lake one last time. So yeah, hopefully you guys have a successful weekend gambling. We're back. We have made it. Don't have a great night, have an American night. Felt fitting. College football is back. Brad Smith. That's it. What's it? Brian. Yeah, I was saying Brian. Brad Smith. Yeah, Brad Smith was awesome.